Will you follow me when the sky starts to change? Yeah, we won't be afraid. We'll never be the same again.
With anime in our souls and thoughts of wrestling out of control, we are a group of weebs who love the entertainment of professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling events of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all of you nerds out there. So grab your steel chair, yell for the table, and get put through an experience unlike any other. We are brought to you by AniMa W3 Studio, and this is the Weebs of the Ring, a podcast. Happy Friday to everybody. It is the weekend time. We had a 3-hour SmackDown, soon to be 2 hours. Thank the Lord and heaven above for bringing us back to 2 hours, hopefully soon. The last date I checked was July 4th, but we'll talk about that when the time comes. Another 3-hour SmackDown, which a good portion of it could have been an email, but we got some stuff to talk about tonight, especially when it comes to that third hour from a couple tournament semifinal matches. Yeah, we got a good night to talk about tonight, I think, despite a few things just being quick and easy and all that. But of course, welcome to all of our returning viewers. Chat, get it popping tonight. I want to hear y'all's pipe bombs on things regarding wrestling. Leave them in the live chat, leave them in the comments if you're watching the VOD. I want to hear it, I want to see it, I want to read it, give it to me. But of course, if you're new around these parts, welcome as always. We love to see you coming in. I, of course, am your reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, Watkins, here, helping us to guide us through this wrestling event and through all of the stories and all that we have to talk about, keeping the conversations going as positively as we possibly can. Unfortunately, Vash is not here tonight. That contract with The Rock taking his soul, really taking a toll on him, but he has to do what he can for his loved ones and all that. But of course, over to my left is the man known as the genius of the mat. It is Drop This Box. Drop, how you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. I'm actually, really excited to get into our opening segment soon of the show because, that's something I can say, like, when I'm playing Mario Kart on my Switch too. That's something I could say I was, like, completely locked in, trying to just take everything that Cena was saying in that promo. Like, that probably has to be my favorite part of the night. And I'm just really glad we're getting to this point when it comes to his heel turn. This is probably my favorite moment out of it all.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we didn't get hit with a blue shell from tonight.
Yeah.
Just from from Cena's little pipe bomb promo. Again, a lot of stuff we'll probably kind of breeze through if I'm being honest. Except for a couple things like what we're going to talk about here first, but let's just dive right into it. But before we dive into it, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to like the stream, make sure to subscribe to the Weebs of the Ring channel, and listen to all of our podcast episodes that we bring out after all of these WWE events. And tune in next Thursday when we return with Grappling with the Week. Unfortunately, we had to deal with some horrible weather and some bad technical difficulties on our end, but it's all good. Things happen for a reason, and we're here for that very reason on this Friday night to talk about SmackDown, and of course to talk about this main event segment slash match, if you want to call it that, between John Cena and Ron Killing. So the match itself, fine, whatever, it was what it was. Ron Killing's trying to build up for the match. He went out to attack Kit Wilson, who was supposed to have a match with Aleister Black. Match didn't really happen because, again, Ron Killings just destroyed Kit Wilson. It took Damian Priest and Jamie Noble to calm Truth down before he got into a fight with Aleister Black before his match. But yeah, it just all led into our main event match. Again, it happened. It was a match for a time until John decided to start walking away and hit Truth with the title, got disqualified and all that. And out came CM Punk to hopefully get something over on John. But unfortunately, he was taken to Dick Kick City, got hit with a belt twice, got put through a table. Something about this seems very, very familiar. Almost like it happened to John about 14 years ago. Oh, wait, what's John doing sitting on the turnbuckle right there? Oh, he's about to unleash a pipe bomb of his own. He's got some things to get off his chest. And my God, we're gonna break this down, okay? Because we've got the promo right here on our separate monitors and all that, and I just kind of want to go through this because there was a lot to go through from Cena's part, from like kind of copying or at least referencing in a way CM Punk's pipe bomb. But I guess before we get into that, I mean, anything to say about the Ron killing stuff before we dive into this pipe bomb?
The only thing I will say that it did have a little nitpick is I understand his frustration when it comes to him wanting to call his shots, when it comes to how he feels about, you know, John Cena wants to get his hands on him and everything. I get that whole thing going on with Ron killings. My only little nitpick with it is I kind of wish they didn't use that to waste a moment with Aleister Black tonight, because I really wanted to see him wrestle or do something. So that was my little nitpick with that. I wasn't really like that big of a fan of that. And like, you know, same thing with the match itself. I mean, it was pretty much set up to what we're really going to be talking about tonight when it comes to the pipe bomb that John Cena laid out on CM Punk. So that was pretty much like the whole, that was pretty much like you're trying to build a sandwich, you get the bread, all the meat, cheese, lettuce, tomatoes, and everything. That's essentially what you saw with John Cena in this next part that we're going to be talking about soon.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I wish we didn't have to waste Aleister Black like that, but I mean, was there nobody else you could have used? You know, like you could have used Legato for something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you don't want to use Santos Escobar either like that, but I mean, Berto or Angel Garza could have been out there for that. I don't know, like make it a little bit more obvious that it was just gonna be a throwaway kind of segment, but don't use Aleister Black for that. He's a little better than that. Come on, guys. But yeah, all right, let's just get into this, because again, there's some things to break down from this. So obviously John starts us off, you know, first things first, I don't hate you, I don't even dislike you, I like you like more than anyone you've ever shared a locker room with, that's for sure. I mean, the obvious reference there being all of his stuff with AEW from like, gosh, a couple years ago now that I think about it.
Yeah,
because that was like 2023 when he left.
Yep, right after the whole situation with Jack Perry at All In.
Yeah, and then he came in on during Survivor Series at the end of that. So yeah, that's basically self-explanatory there. I hate this idea of you as this idea that you're the best in the world. You're not. I'm the greatest of all time. You're better than me at one thing. You're the best bullshitter in the world. And I love this because like, and John even kind of breaks the fourth wall next with it by being like, oh no, look kiddos, John Cena dropped a swear word. Oh my God. Like John, whenever he swore, it was mainly towards, you know, always towards the heel and all that, but always kind of in a cheeky way as well. Like never in like a bitter way, but like in a way, John's kind of echoing a lot of what the IWC has been really criticizing Punk about, and that's being like kind of this hypocrite in a way. I mean, CM Punk's always kind of been a hypocrite anyways. I mean, we all are. Like, if you're gonna sit there and say, oh, I'm not a hypocrite, you literally are acting like one by saying that. But yeah, just what do you think? It's just like I guess this is like the first one I want to point out. It's just like this biggest bullshitter in the world statement. Like, what was your takeaway when you heard John say that about Punk?
Well, it's basically just running back with like everything he said during his pipe bomb that he laid out on John Cena all those years ago, saying all that stuff about the company even after he left, just pretty much shitting on it, you know, going back to the whole promo that he had of MJF, like buy one get one extravaganza, just pretty much like shitting on the whole WrestleMania thing. So it's like you look at the things that Punk has said over the years that we talked about before when it comes to not wanting to come back to WWE. He doesn't like it. Ends up coming back during the Survivor Series of that year. Ends up, doing things with the company that he told himself he never do, which is why we're seeing this match at Saudi Arabia. So it's like he was shouting out all these things, and yes, he did change the game when it came to really revolutionize everything, because that pipe bomb itself inspired a lot of people, like a Cora Jade or a Roxanne Perez, to really go out there and put themselves on the line, or just basically just change like how people view things, especially when it came to how WWE was all those years ago. So it's like you look at everything he said. I mean, you can't really disagree with what John Cena says, because it's like you talk the talk, you're trying to, say all these things that you don't want to do, and then 14 or so years later, you're essentially doing them. And it wasn't even the whole Saudi thing that like broke the camel's back, when people are like, oh my God, he said he'd never do that. Like literally the first thing that he did is when he came back to the company. Some people tend to forget that, because I don't really see that being brought up on online, like on X or whatever. People don't ever bring that up. It's always about the Saudi situation, not when he came back. And so like I do agree with that line that he's saying, at least from the story perspective of this promo.
Oh yeah, and keep that in mind, people. Like we're taking this all in kayfabe. Like this is nothing to do with like Punk as a character, or like his personal character and all that. This is all to do with like kayfabe and all that. So like if we mention anything that might be kind of personal, don't take it too much like that, because again, we don't know the actual guys behind the characters and all that. So just gonna throw that out there. But especially when we get to this next part. So they chant for you. Hell, when you come out, they sing to you. They don't believe a damn word you say, because you change your values as much as I change my shirts. Which is funny, because like that's always been one thing about John, because like I think it was The Rock mentioned something about like John being Fruity Pebbles and all that. Just because of like how his shirts changed from like different highlighted colors and all that. But not only that, just like this whole retirement tour. I mean, he has a different shirt for a different city and all that. So he's changing his shirts every single week during this retirement tour and all that. And he's basically saying, oh, you change your values as much as I change my shirt. So it's like, okay, you say you're for one thing, and then you immediately go to the next thing and say that you're for this, but you're actually for this and for this and for that. But like, it's so contradictory that you are, Punk, and you just refuse to accept that, and you refuse to admit that. And I think that's the kicker that John is trying to get after with Punk, is the fact that Punk has yet to really admit that he is one, even though he kind of did last week, I think it was, where it's just like, yeah, I am a bit of a hypocrite, which again, we all kind of are. But I kind of got a kick from that line itself. And but this one though, this is the one that kind of broke a lot of people, I think. You're just a loudmouth opportunist who will step on the necks of people who actually work hard if it gets you ahead. Where's another camera? Hey, Claudio Castagnoli. Hey, Nick Nemeth. Hey, Matt Cardona. How you guys doing? Interesting names he calls out here. Nick Nemeth being one. So, Drop, why do you think John would have named Nick Nemeth of all people? And like, I know, but maybe our audience might not know why Nick Nemeth might have gotten a little shout out here from Johnny Boy.
Because he was a very underrated wrestler around his time when he was working in WWE. He had a lot of opportunities where he could have been with these other guys in the main event scene, because he was so talented. And thankfully he was able to hold the world title, like I think like twice, maybe once,
something like that. Yeah.
So it's like at least he was able to touch like that main title once to really have that opportunity to hold gold because of how talented the guy was. But it's like that's the thing, like because you had a lot of guys back then, but then there's all these other guys that were a little bit further, so they didn't really get that same recognition. So that's kind of why he brought up Nick Nemeth because of that very reason, because he falls into that category like these other two guys, Claudio Castagnoli, very underrated wrestler. I'm pretty sure me and you saw a lot more coming out of him when he was there. We always looked forward to seeing the matches that he had with a lot of people because he was so talented. Never really got there. Matt Cardona had his spot at WrestleMania when he won the IC title, or was it the US title? I think it was the IC title.
It was the IC title.
So he had his little moment there. You thought things were going to take off, got a big pop and everything. He had the whole package, promo, charisma, music, entrance, etc. Everything. Nothing ever happened. So that's why Cena brought them up.
I think another reason too, the Nick Nemeth one really gets me because if you guys follow like a lot of like wrestling news and reports and all that, you may have heard of something that a certain brother of Nick Nemeth has, Ryan Nemeth.
Oh yeah,
there was that whole stuff where like apparently he was trying to it might still be going on too. I'd have to look back into it.
Is that thing we reported on Grappling with the Week of him trying to sue CM Punk?
Yeah, trying to sue like him and AEW for like negligence, keeping him. It was like bullying or something. It was something to deal with that, where it's like CM Punk kind of threatened him to not show up or something. Again, take that's just me, just kind of trying to remember what it was, but yeah, so there's already bad blood there when it comes to like those brothers. Claudio, I'm not sure what that's about. It might just be like what you were talking about, where it's like, oh, he's just one of those names that like kind of was a quote unquote indie darling for the time in WWE. But yeah, he was kind of like that bridge too, like from Punk's time to Cena's time to like his own time and all. But I swear, John has the balls to really bring up Matt Cardona of all people, considering what went down when Matt Cardona was in the WWE when John was around.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Like
you had the whole stuff with Eve.
You
had the whole thing with Kane too, or something. I think Kane was involved. You had the whole thing.
Yeah, Kane pushed him off that stage when he was on the in the wheelchair and all that. Like, yeah, basically got buried because he got himself over on the internet. Like, just don't get over on the internet, people. I guess I don't know. I mean that hasn't worked in the past. It has it. R-Truth. No, it's just that gets to a whole other topic. But like, yeah, I popped when I heard Claudio's name come out because I'm just like, wait, you're mentioning somebody on AEW TV. Like, that's almost to the lines of like when Sami himself mentioned AEW a few years ago.
That's when he wore that beanie.
Exactly. But like, it kind of, I think it's just more of a reference to, because like when I look at like the other people on the roster of AEW, I'm like, okay, who else could John have mentioned? He probably could have mentioned MJF, but I think the only reason he may have mentioned Claudio, because I think there is a connection with like I think John. Yeah. Now I think about it, I think it was something. It was a story that came out this week. I think it was Seth that said this. Like him, Claudio, and I think John have like this texting group where they text each other about like coffee places around the world or something. So that's just kind of cool. So like I guess that might be the connection there too. Just like John actually knows somebody in AEW, and so it's probably just like, all right, I'm just gonna name drop the one dude I'm actually kind of cool with over there.
It would have been funny if he did mention MJF in the segment, only to just go back at that thing you were telling me about, the Happy Gilmore thing. Like, imagine if like he mentioned MJF on the show, just get a reaction on the crowd, And then you look at how that Happy Gilmore trailer was edited out just to avoid showing him. Imagine that. I mean, I guess like
Oh my god.
mainly. I mean, he could have also brought up Hangman Page.
See, oh my god, if he brought up Hangman, that would have been perfect.
The Bucks,
because it's like, dude, if John Cena was just like, "Hi, Young Bucks," or man, that would have been crazy as hell.
or imagine
But
he said
I
something
think,
like, "You got yourself in a lot of trouble for a couple bucks."
oh my god. Boy, you were sure elite outside of WWE, weren't you? Like some shit like that or something.
Maybe Jack Perry.
Yeah, you called me the goat. Well, now you're my scapegoat. Poke, poke.
Real
I
blast.
feel it. That's a real table. Cry me a river. Like some sort of bullshit like that. Now, I feel like if anybody were to mention the Bucks to Punk, it probably would be Cody. Just
Yes.
because of like, I guess their more connection there, but we'll probably have to wait for that feud when we get to that eventuality. Yeah, now these names again, I popped when I heard Claudia. I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this now. All right. Well, we can't mention Colt Cabana because legal things and all that, and we don't really want to piss off CM Punk. But hey, you know what? Let's just mention Claudio. That'll be fine. That'll be great. Let's see. And there's
Oh,
So I love how cocky John is during this promo because like the whole time he's hitting the mic, making sure it's working fine, and like at this point he's just like he checks in, he's just like there's nobody back there that's gonna cut my mic to save your ass because I'm the only friend. I'm your only friend. Remember who gave you the stage for your pipe bomb, pal? Like, I mean, because that's the thing. It's just like, because what at that time, Punk was running the new Nexus, if I remember, and I don't think it was really going too well. But like this feud with Cena seemed to kind of reinvigorate Punk in his career at that time. Because again, like running this new Nexus thing is like, all right, you're doing something that's cool, but like it wasn't until that pipe bomb when like again, it kind of changed wrestling for a little bit. It kind of changed the landscape, made people like actually start thinking and start wanting and start like it lit a fire under people's asses, basically. But yeah, so I like how John mentioned that. And what if this holy shit, this part. And what have you done with it since then, huh? You've just regurgitated the same 5 microphone moves of doom. Your promo potato salad, pal. Hey, you're no longer the voice of the voiceless. You're a friggin' millionaire despite yourself. You're not Punk, you're a capitalist. I mean, he's not wrong. Like I kind of thought about this too when this segment started a little bit. I'm like, okay, John's kind of got some legs here because like a lot of the time, like, and Punk doesn't reference the pipe bomb too much, but he does try to get into that mindset a lot, which is fine. When you're acting, you want to get into a certain mindset when you're trying to get something across. All that stuff, I get that part, but like it always felt like Punk was trying to grab that lightning again to put in that proverbial bottle. And it's like it's hard to grasp that at certain points because like again, it's lightning in a bottle. It's hard to get that again. And like John's words here, they kind of have merits. Like, you keep trying to do the same thing over and over again. You try to have another pipe bomb. You try to do this, like, I'm going to sit in the middle of the ring. I'm going to sit on this turnbuckle and all that. Like, you still go through these motions trying to recapture that same magic, but it just doesn't work. Like you keep doing your shoulder tackle, little back suplex thing. Like, his 5 moves of doom towards Punk and all that. Yeah, what did you take away from this part of it? Because like there's some merit to it. I think there is some merit to it.
Yeah, there is a lot of merit to this because it's like a lot of the things that like Cena's saying is true because it's almost like self-reflection, like looking at CM Punk now when it comes to the kind of character he has become because the Punk that we have now is a lot different from the Punk that we had all those years ago because he didn't really have the spotlight. He was one of those guys that was really fighting to be in this position. Now that he has it all, and then you're looking at all the things Cena's saying, just calling him out again, like we referenced before about all the bullshit. It just like it's almost like you're facing like a little bit of realism here of like you're hearing all these things. You look at Punk like wow, like maybe there's some things to go along with this. So
Yeah, no, there's definitely, and like again, when you look at a lot of like criticism online too, like a lot of people do mention, hey, Punk's promos aren't as scathing. They don't have a lot of bite to them. I've seen stuff like that going around, and I mean, I don't personally believe all that. I do think Punk is doing some good promo work and all that, but
yeah.
I could see it. I could see just the reasoning behind it, the realism behind it. So yeah, again, great lines there, and of course,
This
and
goes
you're
along
not
with it
again.
actually. This next line actually goes
Mhm.
along with what you just said.
Oh, it does. It does completely. And you're not against TKO, dude. You are Mr. TKO because they knocked your balls technically off your body. Yeah, they kind of did because you came back to WWE. I know that was a little bit before like the TKO merger and all that, but you still came back. Like you still took that money. Now you're getting the Saudi Arabia, quote unquote blood money that you called out the Miz for many moons ago. Yeah, no, you're pretty much Mr. Company Man here. And especially when you look at just like backstage stuff that you get from Punk, like how much he's been going to like NXT, trying to do work there, how much happier he seems. Like again, environment can help change a person and all that. Like I get that part too. It's just like there's something to say about it too. Like how much of a company man he is compared to how he was like in AEW and even when leaving. Mm. But yeah, it's just crazy to think about that. Like Punk is now like kind of this corporate guy.
Yeah,
Like he's not that blue collar worker anymore. He's not that like voice of the voiceless. He's become what he was fighting for or fighting against, I mean.
yeah,
And I mean people are still behind him, yes, because he's still CM Punk to the core, but like on the outside though, again, he's got all this money, he's got
yeah.
all these riches, he's basically set for life.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at how he came back initially and he cut that first promo where it's like, I'm not here to make friends, I'm here to make money. Like that pretty much seals the deal
Mhm.
there. And I remember there's a lot of criticism around the time saying, well, what's going on with Punk is like the whole PG Punk criticism that was being brought up at the
Mhm.
first promo he had, and then he came out that following SmackDown and had a pipe on Roman Reigns, and then he said stuff about Seth Rollins and a whole bunch of other people that he was like button heads with too, just to really clear the room.
Yeah. um your tweets are strong, your actions are weak, and in Saudi Arabia, you're gonna face some loud music. When I finally prove to the world that each and every day, day in, day out, no days off for 25 years, I have been the greatest of all time. Again, just hearkening, just more heel work, I think, guess with John, and the whole time, like this is around the time during the promo where I start being like, okay, hold on. The crowd is even more behind John Cena. Like this isn't just the Saudi crowd right now. This is like a our American crowds right now, like people are still behind John, and he does crack a smile around here, or at least during this promo, where like he has the crowd still in the palm of his hands. Nobody's really booing him. They're still cheering him. Yeah, they're doing the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks" thing, but that's been a thing for like what, the past 10 years, 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Like he's just reveling in it right now, and people are realizing it, and they're still gonna cheer him. Because the other thing too, like especially during this Punk stuff, he's kind of spitting.
Yep, he is.
Yeah. Oh man. But see, they know, and this is when he's like referencing the crowd, because again, the crowd are cheering him. See, they know, and they know that you the best in the world for 7 minutes 14 years ago, and like that's the reference to the pipe bomb, because again, that's what changed everything for not only Punk but wrestling in general. And if after Night of Champions you're still delusional enough to believe that you're the best in the world, well, I guess it's a small world after all. Dude, this one kind of took me back a little bit, because it's like, okay, because that's the thing. You hear the term, "Oh, small world," huh? I met somebody over in like freaking Spain that I knew from high school. What are you doing here in Spain? Like, oh, it's a small world after all, huh? Like, it, in a way, it's almost calling Punk a big fish in a little pond.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're great and big and all that, but like compared to everything else, you're not really that much. Like it's almost like what happens. Okay, it's almost like what happened in Dragon Ball, where it's like, oh great, Frieza, you're like the strongest in the universe. Great, awesome. Um, Shame that Beerus, exists. The true strongest in the universe. Oh, there's other universes. Oh well, I mean, Frieza, you don't really stand up to them. Hell, Majin Buu exists. He comes from the demon realm. There's some Daima lore for you. But like it's just continued. Like, okay, yeah, you think you're great, you think you're big, but you're really not. Like, this place is very small. If that's the case, like if you think you're this great, this big here, you're nothing compared to this guy over here or this guy over there. And that's what Cena's kind of saying. Is it's like, okay, you think you're the best. Well, sorry to break it to you, but like you're really not compared to everything else. It's almost like when you look at a fandom, or like look at like um kind of like what an argument going on right now when it comes like wrestling fandom and all that, is the IWC versus like the IRL fans, I guess would be the best way to kind of put it. Because it's like the general audience, the ones that go to the shows, they're cheering, they're booing, they're giving all of the attention to the wrestlers out there. They're the ones reacting to everything, whereas people like us that are home watching all this, we're sitting there thinking, okay, wait, why is Jay having another freaking entrance? I wanted to reference that because that's something we brought up on this show, where it's like, why are we getting this? It's like we get it with the live crowd, but like when we're at home, the hell are we doing?
Dude, whenever I
like,
see this now, I'm like, oh my god! Like whenever I see him do the motion, like a fucking VHS tape.
Just me, Oos. Day one ish. But see, that's the thing. It's like when you're out there, you're digging it,
Yeah.
And like that's the thing. It's just like the online fan base is such a small percentage of like the overall fan base and all that.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what John's saying here. It's like, great, you're the best of all time, but if that's the case, I mean, that's only a few people that think that. Oh man. So yeah, he basically says, "You're welcome, Grand Rapids. bring your A game to Night of Champions because, as you can tell, if this building in Grand Rapids is an indication, the mood is starting to change. And again, people are cheering John. No, 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 no. That's fine. I'm not going to do any more damage. He needs to rest up. He's got a big championship match ahead of him. Ain't that right? The best in the world get a good shot against the greatest of all time for the most coveted prize in sports entertainment, the WWE title. I know you will sing, I know you will chant, but I know even you idiots are smart enough to see the truth. The champ is here. Basically tells USA Network they can keep the extra 2.5 minutes. He doesn't need to bomb. I don't need a bomb. Elvis has left the mother fudging building. Thanks for letting me rip off your promo to make you look even more foolish. Like, a lot of people will probably say this, but John kind of cooked tonight. Like, he cooked a fine meal by using Punk's own pipe bomb promo against him. Like, and like there is a part of me too that thought, okay, he's kind of holding back a little bit. Like, it could have been more scathing, and this is me really being like nitpicky with it, but like it still was effective. It still did its job, and again, people are cheering him. They're not booing him at all. And I think that's one thing to kind of look back on when it comes to like John Cena's heel run. It's like, yeah, he's trying to act like a heel. He is acting like a heel, but like the crowd are still loving it, you know? And I don't know if that's just a testament of just people liking heels because they actually have a character, or if it's just like people just like John. And I mean, it could be just a mix of the two and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was just awesome. Like, I really liked it. You know, I thought it was a really well done segment. I mean, again, the match with Ron Killings was what it was. I mean, I'm sure there's still going to be people thinking that Ron Killings is going to be the one to take the title from John. I mean, cool if that happens, but I don't know. I don't know where Ron Killings goes from here, because it's like he could fight John again, but I don't know if they're just gonna end in like weird. It's just gonna be a weird match again, you know? Because like their match in Saturday Night's Main Event was just kind of quick and easy, and really just to set up the tag team match with John and Cody, Jay, and Logan Paul. And this one was just to set up the pipe bomb return. Yeah, I don't know. Talk to me a little bit, Drop. Like, I guess with like the closing moments of this pipe bomb promo. I mean, any other takeaways you had from it? I mean, anything dig with it too? I mean, because again, like John went in. He went in on Punk a little bit.
The only other things I can really say about this is like I'm glad we have a lot of spice with this feud. This was definitely needed, because I mean, this is like the perfect time to really do something to both of these guys, because it's his retirement tour, so you want to make every moment special. Even though the Randy Orton match had a whole bunch of shenanigans towards the end, that's what made it great. When it comes to putting the nail in the coffin, when it comes to these promo segments, to really throw people off the cruise ship by saying all these things you really wouldn't expect WWE to say, that's what you have to get out of CM Punk. Because one thing I do recall that CM Punk mentioned, I'm not sure if it was the Raw premiere, because I actually stumbled across it recently, and one of the things he says is that when he's in the ring with people, he always brings the best out of them. You could clearly see that with John Cena, because you compare how John Cena was with Cody and how John Cena was with Randy, even though him and Randy got a lot of history. Looking at what Punk said, I'm going to bring the best out of you when you're in the ring with me and when you're toe-to-toe with me on the microphone. That's what John did. You could tell John's having a lot of fun with this, because I'm pretty sure when John was thinking about his retirement tour of all these different kinds of people that he was going to be coming across, one of those people he thought of was CM Punk, because he has a lot of fun working with this guy. Because I wouldn't say that Punk was outclassed when it comes to promos with Cena. They're pretty much on an even level because they're pretty good. Like when you like hypothetically, if I was a wrestler and I had to have a battle with John Cena or CM Punk, I'd just walk out.
Yeah. Yeah, I would. I'd throw in the towel, be like, no, I'm good, guys. Just run a promo segment. Can I get Paul Heyman? Can he talk for me, please?
But I love the parallels. So like that's all. I've always been a really big fan of parallels. Going back all those years ago to do parallel this and ending it. Like, yeah, thanks for letting me rip off your promo and make you even look more foolish. I just love it. There's continuity there. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it rewards you for being a wrestling fan, especially people that like got through, and I do mean got through the 2010s of WWE. Like it kind of it rewards you in that way to be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, I followed this feud since back then. I followed their journey to get to this part, to this moment, and all that. And yeah, it feels good to have a good story. And yeah, just like what you said, I mean, Punk does try to bring out the best in people, and yeah, John's feeling the best right now. Like it feels like uh with each feud that John has this year, he keeps getting better and better. Like he keeps like enjoying himself more, you know. And I mean, that's no knock against Cody or Randy or anything, but like I mean, each one was better than the last, and like this Punk stuff right now is really dang good.
Oh yeah,
and
this is what we needed since the get-go.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if we do get the eventuality of Cena and Cody locking up again, I hope they kind of continue the forward momentum with it, and hopefully, like any promo battles that Cena and Cody end up doing, hopefully they're a little bit more scathing. Hopefully they're a little bit more cutthroat and all that. Because yeah, being able to play off John Cena should be something everybody would want to do, you know, especially during his last tour and all that. So
and he definitely proved good.
Oh yeah, but any final words with this segment? I know we didn't really dive deep into anything, but it's just like there were a few things to kind of talk about with it and just to kind of reference and all that. But yeah, any closing thoughts with it?
The only closing thoughts I have is I will have to rewatch this segment again, and probably later on when I'm trying to fall asleep, I have to see other people's reactions. It was really good.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I already saw some tweet reactions to some of the people and all that. Like Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens shared a picture. Like he didn't say anything. He just had a picture of him wearing one of the green John Cena shirt that says respect.
Yeah.
So there's that, you know, continuing that thing. Nick Nemeth had a response being like, wait, what? Okay. Matt Cardona responded being like, oh hey John, how's it going? Um even Chelsea Green got into it. She's just like, and I oop with a little gif of her husband Matt Cardona and all that. Haven't seen anything from Claudio yet, but you know, maybe there's something somewhere around the road. But yeah, so as we kind of, you know, go into Night of Champions and all that, we do have a couple tournaments to kind of decide as well for any number one contenders for main titles when it comes to like building up for SummerSlam and all that. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead now and talk about our King and Queen of the Ring semifinal matches.
Bangers.
We're gonna start with the King. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they're both banger matches tonight.
Oh my god, dude. The Queen of the Ring match was really good. And that's nothing to take away from this King of the Ring match either, but there's something about like the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments that really bring out the best of people.
Yeah.
And I thought about that during this King of the Ring match with Randy and Sami. Because like I don't want to say, you know, Randy's been doing crap or anything, because he really hasn't. But like you started to see a lot of good character work from him during his match with Sami tonight. Like here you have a veteran in Randy Orton facing off against Sami Zayn. Sami, who's never held a world title, already you could tell Randy has it in his mind. It's just like, okay, well, I'm kind of a little better than him right now. But like Sammy's able to like pull out some stops and all that. Like he actually kind of pisses off Randy Orton for a bit
Yeah.
with like some chops and all that. And Randy like rolls out. He's just, man, what the hell? What the hell? This isn't supposed to be happening. Like, not at all. And even though he runs out of the way from like a top rope suicide and all that, like again, like Randy's kind of surprised. He's just like, all right, you know what? I guess I have to actually try a little bit more and try a little bit more. He does like a couple backdrops onto that announce table, kind of busting up Sammy's back and all that. And yeah, some of the counters too from Sammy was really good. Uh, able to hit a blue thunder bomb, which uh, I mean, it only won you like 2 matches in your career, but it's fine. It's whatever. It's all good. Ends with an RKO out of nowhere from a haluva kick attempt. I don't know, man. It's this was just like this was just really good.
Yeah, I loved
Highly
it.
recommend people to go watch it.
Yeah, I loved it. Like I was looking forward to this as soon as I saw it. I was like, okay, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, I'm on board because both of these guys are really good. They've been in the ring before. Actually, they were actually in the ring last year when they were taking part in the tournament as well, and we ended up having the same result here where you had Randy going through to go to the finals of the entire thing again, which is pretty interesting.
Mhm.
But it's like seeing that underdog within Sami Zayn because they're obviously telling a story here. Like, sure, could he have won this match? Yes. Could he have gone to Night of Champions to win the match? Yes. Could he have gotten Gunther at SummerSlam? Sure. Could shenanigans happen with Seth? Sure. But you could obviously tell that there's certain things that they're trying to do to really build that entire journey for Sammy to get there. Because you look at the people that were involved before we got into this match, you had Cody coming out because he was supposed to talk about Jay. He didn't really say anything. Then he had Jay coming out,
Mhm.
the whole concert thing with the Yeet concert. It different sides of the coin. When you're there in person, it's obviously an experience. At home, it is a little competitive, a little over the top when it comes to happening.
Mhm.
And then you had Sammy come out, you had Randy come out. So you had 3 former world champions in there. You had Sammy that hasn't been there. So you look at this, it's like maybe Sammy has a chance. Because I looked at this match, it's like, you know what? I could call it 50-50. It could go either way. Randy
Yeah.
could win, Sammy could win. But yeah, these guys have really good chemistry. I like a lot of the close calls when it came to the haluva kick, when it came to the RKO that Sammy managed to counter. And I just really liked it. I was sucked in. I thought Sammy had it a few times just because of like how they were maneuvering certain spots within the match itself. It's like, holy shit, is Sammy
Mhm.
gonna get it? Because like one of the things that I noticed about wrestling after watching it for so many years, you can tell when a match is about to end,
Yeah.
where a certain person gets momentum, that person ends up going straight into their finisher, 1, 2, 3, or submission, they tap out, and it's over and done. When Sammy went for that haluva kick before Randy Orton, this is one of my favorite spots in the match, where Randy Orton counters it for power slam. I loved that spot. I thought that was a really good spot how he countered that with a power slam. So it's
Mhm.
like just seeing because like a lot of these guys have stories in here. You look at the 4 guys involved. Randy, he has unfinished business with John. He wants number 15. Sami Zayn, he wants to become a world champion. Jey Uso, he wants to, kick the dirt off of his feet and try to get back to where he was. And Cody wants to grow from the mistakes he made and he wants to take the title from Cena, pretty much trying to erase everything that happened that embarrassed him that time. So it's like that's just something I love about the wrestling itself is you can get emotionally invested in these characters. You can understand why so and so would win, and
Mhm.
it's I think we talked about this on Monday. If you see who wins on Friday, you can kind of figure out who's gonna win on Monday.
Yeah. And like that's nothing to take away from like a possible Jay
Yeah,
Randy program, but I mean the fact that this is going to be in Saudi Arabia
yeah,
and Orton versus Cody is kind of a
Money match.
bigger money match
Yeah,
than Jay versus Randy. Like
and
it kind of writes itself.
they've been prolonging it for so long. So you knew as soon as they
Yeah.
saw how the tournament was now, you could see how they're getting a little closer. We'll see what happens on Monday. They're gonna do it because, like, you look at the card of how it's shaped in your head. I mean, John Cena versus CM Punk. You got Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. I'm just going on top of my head. Probably have Jade Cargill versus Asuka, or maybe Roxanne. You never know. And then you have what you have Jacob Fatu versus Solo Sikoa. So it's like it's not looking like a bad card. 'Cause some pretty cool matches on there.
Yeah. Oh shoot, what was I gonna say? And I mean, I don't see Cody winning clean on Monday either. I feel like something's gonna happen to kind of cost Jay, and Cody's gonna have to capitalize because I mean
I think
kind
I
of
might
have
know.
to at that point.
I think I might know.
Do tell.
Like maybe it was something that we saw during the Jacob segment. Because you got to remember, there's a third man that might possibly appear.
Yeah.
Need another guy.
I'm glad we're thinking the same way.
Yeah.
I'm glad you saw that too.
Yeah.
yeah, because there's something there. There's something there with all this. But yeah, that Sammy and Randy again, and like even so, this like before the match started, like you were mentioning, like the big promo segment that we had beforehand. Mainly Jay being like, "Oh, I'm gonna beat you." You know, yeah, we're both faces, we're both good guys, but at the end of the day, one of us has to lose, one of us has to win, and it's gonna be me. 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet. Sammy coming out there. I'm sharing the ring with 3 former world champions, but I'm gonna prove that I'm the best. Randy coming out there and be like, I'm just gonna RKO everybody. Cody didn't say a damn word tonight, and I think that's good. Again, nothing against Cody or anything, but like I think him letting the other 3 kind of state their case was just enough that we needed to be like, okay, well, when Cody is king of the ring, then we'll just we'll talk then, you know. And I think that's one thing Cody what works with Cody's benefit as well with the Jay part, because like Jay basically said what Cody was probably going to say, like, hey, it's just business, dude. We may be tied, we may be close, but yeah, at the end of the day, like you just said, one of us has to win, one of us has to lose, and it's gonna be me. But yeah, so again, Randy moves on to the finals. We'll see how the other final match goes underway. The Queen of the Ring match, though, this might have been one of Alexa Bliss's best matches. Even mainly when it comes to like in-ring work. Oh no.
Just that was him the entire time.
Yeah, just sitting there, just be like, I'm listening to everybody talk. Can I get a word in? Nope, we're already on commercial break. Okay, great. Well, back I go. Yeah, no, it's just kind of funny with that part. But yeah, no, I dare I say this might be one of Alexa's best matches, mainly from like an in-ring psychology work, because there were a few moments where Alexa and Asuka didn't go for a move, and especially like the one that obviously comes to mind is Alexa almost attempting to go for a twisted bliss, but like she jumps down and just like, nah, I can kind of see through your little facade, and Asuka immediately puts in an armbar onto her, and it's like just the speed and the technical prowess that Asuka showed in doing that was top notch, and for Alexa to be able to like go through with that as well was damn good. But yeah, I mean, just both women being able to counter each other. This was more of a strike based match. You know, there weren't too many holds. There was, you know, a couple holds from Asuka again. You know, the armbar. I think she went for I think it's for some reason I want to say Rings of Saturn was the submission, but Alexa was able to like squirm her way out and almost roll up Asuka for the win. But unfortunately, it's not enough because Alexa does go for the Twisted Bliss. Asuka gets the knees up. She's able to hit her new finisher, the Empress Impact, and she picks up the win. So uh yeah, again, great match. After the match, we had Jade, Michin, and BFAB in the back, and Michin and BFAB won a shot at the women's tag titles. Cool, neat. But Byron meets up with Jade. He's just like, hey, what do you think of this? And Jade's like, hey, this tournament wasn't made for the future. It was made for a woman made to reign. And that's going to be me. I'm going to be queen of the ring. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Fantastic. I'm kind of 50-50 on Jade and Roxanne, but we'll get into that conversation here in a minute. But Drop, what do you think of the match between Alexa and Asuka here? Okay. No, it's all good. Drop will be back here later on, everybody. I'll go ahead and talk about this Jade and Roxanne 50-50 then. So like I could see it happening both ways because like one thing that's been happening a lot in this King and Queen of the Ring tournament is there's been a lot of interference going on and like continuing stories through that aspect and all that, which it's fine. I mean, you also run into the law of diminishing returns and all, but it's neither here nor there with that. I could see somebody costing Jade this, and we get a Roxanne Asuka final with possibly Roxanne winning. I mean, Asuka winning, that would also be really cool because hey, that means we get Asuka versus Io, which yeah, inject that into my veins too. But I don't know. I feel like Jade has other things to do. Now granted, you know, Naomi has the briefcase and all that, and there's a possibility she might be cashing in next week, which that might also lead to whoever wins Queen of the Ring and all that. But yeah, but drop back to you. What do you think of the match and Jade's like backstage promo as well?
So I would have to say this is probably the best Alexa has looked since she came back. And obviously, we know that
Hmm.
these girls know each other pretty well because they've been tag team champions before. They had feuds over the world title. So I
Yeah.
was expecting both of these girls to read each other like a book, which they did, because it's like you mentioned before that I noticed where Alexa was going for the Twisted Bliss. She knows how Asuka is. Asuka could put her knees up, do something sneaky. Never know if a mist might happen if the ref's looking at a different direction. So she decided to go down to see if she could like outsmart her. Obviously, it was a trap. Could have went for
Hmm.
the Twisted Bliss, got trapped in the armbar. But I really enjoyed this. Like when it comes to a semi-final match, which is why I like the previous match that we discussed as well. This is how these sort of matches are supposed to feel. They're supposed to feel competitive. This is supposed to have you on the edge of your seat. And this was just another one of them where I was like I was like Team Asuka all the way through, but I couldn't help but feel that there was a lot of close call here between
Hmm.
both of these ladies. So I was like, holy shit, you know, is Alexa actually going to do this? Because I thought when she stunned Asuka before the end of that match, it's like, okay, they're going to go for the Twisted Bliss and she's going to win and then, you know, possibly face whoever wins that match on
Hmm.
Monday at Night of Champions. But no, Asuka managed to get it done. She ended up hitting her in the face of her butt. And then she ended up winning the match. But like I'm excited for this. This was the right call. I feel like Asuka, especially since she recently came back, but also just to pretty much just bring us back to like that super dominant Asuka. I just felt like
Yeah.
this was perfect for her. And when it comes to Jade, that whole back segment talking about like the how she was made for a woman, she was made for she was a woman made to reign. When it came to her comments about Roxanne, Asuka, stuff like that, worry about it when it comes. She has potential, yada this, yada yada that. Um, like I feel a certain way about Jade? Because I know there's a lot of people out there I
Mm,
noticed online that are saying, "Oh, Jade might be our winner for Queen of the Ring." But there's just a part of me where I'm like, does Naomi really want that? Like, you're still gonna get the
yeah,
same result in the end, where because like technically you could still get to Jade and Tiffany at SummerSlam if that's the match. She doesn't have to win this match to get that. You could still get the
no.
same result, but it's so hard for me to wrap it around my finger either next week when she faces Roxanne, or if she ends up facing Asuka at Night of Champion. It's just so hard for me to look at Naomi, regardless if there's a title on the line or not. It's so hard for me to look at Naomi, be like, you know what? I'll have her win that semifinal match, or I'll have her win the final
Mm,
match, and then I'll have her go up against Tiffany, rip the title from her. You could still get there. And another thing I noticed that one of my friends pointed out as well is that they normally do this thing where it's like one Raw superstar, one SmackDown superstar. As of now, it more than likely seems to be Cody being the winner of the King of the Ring,
mm-hmm.
just based on pure speculation right now. So if that is definitely in the cards, I would assume if you want to do the whole Raw and SmackDown thing, which has been a common theme of a lot of these tournaments, you could have Asuka win, have her go up against Io. You could do
Yeah,
something like that. I wouldn't mind it at all. They haven't really had any interactions since they came back. You don't know how Asuka feels indifferent about Io with everything that's currently going on. You never know if you want to put Kairi Sane in a situation where she has to choose between Asuka and Io. But it's like, and also you recently just had a SmackDown girl win the Money in the Bank briefcase. So it's like you can't get everything to SmackDown. Like it's so
right.
hard for me to see two SmackDown superstars winning their matches. Like it's either like one or the other. But um yeah, I mean Jade could still have her moment, but I'm
Yeah,
just hoping Asuka pushes all the way through. I personally want to see Asuka and Io at SummerSlam, because you even have Rhea dealing with Raquel, getting involved in
hmm
Judgment Day shenanigans. She's not even relevant with Io right now, so it's and you're not gonna just throw Stephanie at Io without like anything really there. If you
yeah,
were gonna do it, this would be the moment. Obviously, not ready for that yet, so it's like do Asuka and Io. Don't It's there,
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think one other takeaway to kind of take from this too
Yeah,
is because this was also a report that came out actually, I think today, either today or yesterday. Something came out where it's like a lot of the Evolution 2 script, like a lot of the plans for that
better.
were heavily rewritten because of Liv Morgan's injury.
Mm-hmm.
Because like they were setting up a rematch with her and Io. They
Yep.
were setting up a match with like a possible tag match with her Raquel defending the titles against the Bellas and all that. There's the stuff that's going on with Roxanne in the Judgment Day and everything. So it's like there's a lot that's going on that deals with Roxanne, who's in the Queen of the Ring tournament. And I mean, that's kind of a byproduct of this Liv Morgan stuff because it's like, okay, do we have Roxanne win the Queen of the Ring tournament? Do we have her like be crowned that? And that's like something that she has overlived to kind of push that story while Liv's gone, you know? And I mean, yes, she could join Raquel and all that to defend the titles and all that, but you know, then somebody has to eat the pin at Evolution for all that. And do you really want your newly crowned Queen of the Ring to be pinned in a tag team match just to further a story? I don't know. WWE's done crazier things in the past to push a story too. So I personally wouldn't like that, but they could always still have Raquel eat the pin because hey, Roxanne, you didn't help Raquel, blah blah blah. They could always narrative like that. So it's gonna be very money's gonna be very interesting for both the Queen and the King of the Ring tournament finals. Like again, with the Queen of the Ring, I feel like that's very 50-50. Like it could go either way
Yeah.
for the finals. And with the men's one, it's leaning more towards Cody, but there's definitely going to be some sort of interference going on with both of these matches, I think. Whether it's somebody from Judgment Day helping Roxanne win, or like you said, if it's Naomi going out there and screwing over Jade Cargill. And with the men's one, we'll mention that here shortly when we talk about the rest of the bloodline family and all that. But yeah, anything else to mention when it comes to like King and Queen of the
The only other thing I really have to say here is outside of tournament matches, I want to see this like this consistent quality when it comes to like how competitive these
Yes.
girls are in the ring. Like this is the kind of
Yes.
stuff I like tuning in for to see.
Mhm. And I'm hoping after Evolution, because like right now WWE's kind of building for 3 shows within the next like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm hoping after this we keep the same amount of focus, or at least the same amount of attention on the women's division, because right now the women's division is hot. Like they are putting on some really good stories, some really good matches too, like on both shows as well. And yeah, I just hope that they continue the forward momentum beyond Evolution rather than just be like, oh yeah, here's our women's division, and we'll just put them aside until the next Evolution pay-per-view, which will be in like 7 years from now. Yeah, cool, great, awesome, fantastic. We're gonna move on right ahead now to our mid-card stories. Yeah, we're gonna start, of course, how SmackDown started tonight with LA Knight coming out, cutting a promo, basically saying, "Hey, I took care of your other 2 guys, screwed them both over in the King of the Ring tournaments, but this only ends with me and Seth Rollins. So get on out here. Let's have this fight. Let's have this match. Let's get it on." And out comes the biggest LA Knight fan, Paul Heyman, who warns LA Knight that he should probably get out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, or he's going to get very hurt. And I love how LA Knight calls Paul Heyman out on this. He's just like, look, I feel like I've heard this before, and you're with somebody different. You're a leech, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you keep like latching on to like the hottest thing,
Yep.
sucking them dry, and then you drop off and go to the next thing. Like, get out of here. Like, I asked for Seth, and y'all gave me Paul. All right, fine. Paul, if you want to fight, go ahead. I'll turn my back on you. And when he does that, Paul leaves, and he's just like, yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't giving a prediction. It was a spoiler. And out come the Bronze to mollywop LA Knight tonight, but Knight's able to get a chair as a good old equalizer, and good old Nick Aldis makes this official. We're going to get Bronson Reed versus LA Knight tonight, which was a fine match until it ended in DQ, and the Bronze just decimate LA Knight with spears and tsunamis, and the man can barely walk and all that. Good segment to, not only start the night off, but of course to push this LA Knight Seth Rollins story that I'm assuming we're either getting the, well, I don't know, because of like what happened tonight with the Broad. Like, I don't know if they're gonna write LA Knight off until its main event for his match with Seth. Which honestly, now that I think about it and said it out loud, they might do.
Yeah.
Which, okay, fine, cool, neat. What you think of this segment and the little short backstage segment we got with Han Breaker, like a good old security dog that he is?
So I actually really like this segment because I like how LA Knight is getting involved with something new. Because even though he's not involved in the world title picture, he's involved with a main eventer now, being Seth Rollins. So that's pretty big, considering like the people that he was dealing with before when he came to Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Shinsuke Nakamura for like the 1000th time. So it's like you mix him and Seth Rollins. It's like, okay, that's new. We haven't seen it before. LA Knight's even brought up on the mic. We don't really know each other that well. I don't really have much to really say to you when he was talking about all the competitors involved in the Money in the Bank match. I like this. And I don't know if you saw the report online when it came to something from Fightful or whatever, saying how, or actually, it might have been Russell Wrestle Votes, like the Q&A thing, saying how there was discussions about moving him to Monday Night Raw, and I feel like this is definitely something we're seeing because you have a
Yeah.
SmackDown guy feuding with 3 Raw superstars, so it's like
Mhm.
you're gonna have to bring the guy over. It would honestly be for the best, and like we spoke about, which we'll talk about next. You want to throw that other guy in there involved in Jacob's business. I feel like that'd be an even trade. So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, I like this opening segment. I thought it was really good. I like how LA Knight got on Paul Heyman's case because he's not wrong. Because you look at Paul Heyman, a lot of hype around Brock. People were really happy when Brock came back. I still remember when he came back during that John Cena, what was that John Cena's like lowest of lows after that Rock loss, and who was there? Paul, and then you have like Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar because of the hype. You had him with CM Punk because of the hype. You had him with Roman Reigns because of the hype. So he's not wrong because that's what leeches are. They latch onto things, and then when they're tired of it, they move on to the same thing. He
Mhm.
turned on CM Punk and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now he's working inside Seth Rollins because he's the talk of the town. Now he's helping out Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker because they're the talk of the town. So there really wasn't any lies here when it came to LA Knight really being upfront about him. Because hypothetically, if LA Knight was in the same category as those guys, he probably would have been latching onto him, especially if you want to expand that whole LA Knight fanboy thing. Like if
Yeah.
if that shit was actually legit or not, LA Knight would have been one of those guys. So I like how he
Yeah.
called him on that. It's always funny to see Paul getting called out on a lot of the bullshit that he says. And I mean, he wasn't wrong. He met his match later
Mm-mm.
that night because wasn't a match, sure, but we got the spoiler there. Like Paul Heyman said, got his ass handed to him, got a
Yep.
spear. He got 3 tsunamis. So that's some crazy shit right there.
Yeah.
So I'm honestly hoping, and I honestly feel like there probably is some crumbs to what you said about Seth Rollins and LA Knight taking place at Saturday night's main event because all they have announced for that card right now is just Goldberg versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. So they got to add more
Yeah.
matches there. It seems like they might be writing him off to sell the effects of what happened tonight. So maybe, I don't know, let's say hypothetically, Seth Rollins goes for a cash in or something in the meantime, leading up to that. Maybe LA Knight's there to fuck it up, not necessarily costing him the title, but preventing him from cashing in. And that's when you start getting to that match officially being confirmed for Saturday night's main event. But all in all, though, you
Yeah.
got to show this group being dominant. And I'm just hoping and praying we watch an episode of Raw one day. And you got Mr. Baldy back there saying, "Welcome to Raw." Because he
Yeah.
needs it. He needs a new change of scenery, and if this is
Mhm.
the stepping stone to that, then good.
Yeah, he really needs the change of scenery, like you said, and going to Raw will be even the more better for him. And yeah, I do think they probably wrote him off for the next couple weeks,
Yeah.
or at least until like after next. Like he might show up on the Raw. Well, no, because they might still be in Saudi on the Raw after Night of Champions, but uh, he'll be back after Night of Champions,
Oh yeah.
and yeah, and especially if WWE wants to try, and I use that word try very heavily. They want to try to counter program All In. They'll put LA Knight and Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's a pretty big match, especially if you want to elevate a guy.
Yeah, and that's kind of a pretty big show. They're gonna be wanting to counter program when it comes to. Well, hold on, because All In's gonna be earlier.
Yeah, because
But still.
I know what they're gonna do because they have NXT show that comes on at 'cause I think the All In show comes out at like 3. They have
Yeah.
their NXT show coming on at 2:30. They're gonna load the fuck out of that show too. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if they crown Blake Monroe.
Oh yeah, it wouldn't surprise me either. That they might do something with like Trick in the TNA title. I don't know what they'll do for the NXT title when it comes. I don't know what they're planning on with all that. Um, yeah, yeah. Again, we're just kind of pushing the story along, which fine. Gives LA Knight something to do. Seth's got a target right now for the beginning of his group and all that. Um, but hey, we got to find out if Jacob Fatu still loves Solo Sikoa. That is the biggest question going into this week's SmackDown, which, I mean, we kind of already knew the answer, but
Oh yeah.
Solo wants the answer from Jacob himself. But nah, nah, Jacob does not still love Solo. I like how he brings up, hey, even though you brought me into Disney and you did all the stuff, you claim you're family, I know exactly how you when I won the title. And one thing I'm surprised they have yet to bring up in any promo, the fact that when Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga won the tag title, that Solo made Jacob Fatu drop it, or at least give it to Tonga Loa. Like, they have yet to really mention that little bit of information that because again, like technically, if I remember correctly, Jacob Fatu won that match for them. So really, he was a world champion, or for a bit. I mean, tag champion, sure, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
But like,
I had to hand over
he
the
was still a
title.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was literally the next week. Like, yeah, give that to Tonga Loa. You don't need that. And people booed that thing too. Um, yeah, so Jacob, he sees right through Solo, his act and all that. And especially since winning the US, which Jacob lays it on the line, he's just, you can fight me for this title, but you know exactly what I'm about. And if you challenge me for this title, best believe I am not holding back at all. And Solo ends up going for a Samoa Spike right then and there, blocked by Jacob Fatu, starts beating up on Solo, but out comes JC Mateo to kind of even the odds a little bit. And it was at this point I'm like, huh. Because like I'm sitting here watching Smack, watching this beatdown going, I'm like, okay, Jacob doesn't really have many. What can he do? Like, how can he get out of this? I mean, it'd be great if he could just power up and leave. I mean, that would be a great Jacob Fatu accomplishment on his own right. But no, Jimmy comes out. Out of all people, Jimmy comes out to help Jacob Fatu.
Mm.
I'm not mad at it, and I'm not upset with it. It's odd considering just the recent history when it comes to like Jimmy and Jacob. Well, what do you think of this? Because like this ends up leading to this match getting added to Night of Champions with Solo Sikoa taking on Jacob Fatu for the U.S. title. But what do you think of this segment? This the announcement of the match too, and just everything around this. Because like, yeah.
So my thoughts on this segment itself, really, I mean, like you said, we already knew the answer coming in. There's no way that Jacob was going to be a bitch to Solo Sikoa and just suck up to him. So obviously he was going to be up front, which he did because he ended up saying, you know what, even though you were like at this, high pedestal, you used me to get there, which he did because Solo would be scared to go up against a lot of the people that he was going up against to really rise up to that top. If it wasn't for Jacob Fatu butting in and just punching people across the face or just taking that spot to really deal with the problem at hand, which is why he was an enforcer. That's what enforcers do. Then Solo would have never got to the position he was. He probably would never had that match at Roman. He probably would have never really felt as dominant if he didn't really have the group with him to really help propel him to be in that spotlight that he once was at. So what Jacob was saying was true, and then obviously we saw shenanigans happen. Solo went for a spike. Jacob was a lot faster, was able to stop it before it happens. And obviously, yeah, JC Mateo saying he wanted to come out there and beat him up earlier, but we had Solo saying, you know what, we're going to leave things how they are. And yeah, that's when Jimmy Uso came out. So it is pretty interesting to see him out of all people coming out. So obviously, I would assume, because we didn't really get an explanation tonight, we'll get an explanation next week, maybe a backstage segment explaining exactly why these two are working alongside each other, at least hearing something from Jimmy, because Jacob didn't really call for help, because look at Jacob, he doesn't need help. But hearing an explanation of Jimmy as to why he's doing it, I feel like is needed so we can get a better perspective. And then just give a quick shout what I said earlier. I feel like if Jay doesn't win that match with Cody, which I don't think he is, you could easily slot him in here, because the reason why I bring this up is because they had Hikuleo on a main event match last week. They had him on another main event this week. And there's just a part of me thinking that you're going to have him showing up one of these days, sooner or later, could very well be at Saudi Arabia. And you're going to have a third guy. So if Jay's not doing anything, he could possibly do it. Again, you're going to have to explain it, so there's reasoning behind it as to why this is going on. But I feel like that might be a way you could factor Jay into something, especially if the reports are true about transferring LA Knight over to Monday Night Raw. I feel like you trade LA Knight to Raw and Jay to SmackDown. I feel like that's a fair trade, because both of those guys have some pretty high star power. It all depends what they want to do, really.
Yeah, I think that's just it. It just depends on how they want to maneuver everything. Because that's the thing. We thought we were going to be getting Solo versus Jacob at SummerSlam. We thought there was going to be a little bit longer build, which, I mean, we could still get that match at SummerSlam. It just, we thought the first one was going to be at SummerSlam. But here we are.
Dash was right.
What's up?
When I saw that match announced, I was like, Vash might be onto something, because he said a trilogy of matches.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if we have a debuting Hikuleo, man, see, I hate saying it, but it could lead to Jacob Fatu's first loss in the WWE, like first singles loss at least, like one-on-one. Which,
yeah, I know how you. I understand how you feel about that too, because that was like something that came up to me where I was like, hypothetically, either it ends in a DQ where he just gets his ass beat up and everything, or they possibly have him lose a Solo. Maybe Solo gets the belt. Jacob has to go for it again. We don't know.
Yeah, it could be leading down that route. Yeah, so speaking of just like, routes leading into each other and like going into each other and all that. Two people who keep intertwining with each other are Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. So after the Queen of Ring tournament match that we got tonight, Alexa's shown backstage and she's kind of walking, obviously a little upset that she lost, which, as you should. But out comes Chelsea Green, who kind of rubs it in a face, kind of being like a bully and put her down. And Charlotte comes in. She's like, "Hey, your buddy over there tapped out quick to my lock, my figure 8 lock. But if she had just tapped out 3 seconds sooner, I would have won that match. So, hey, why don't we get in the ring tonight?" And we get Chelsea Green versus Charlotte, which was fine for the most part. I think these two do kind of mesh well with their styles, but I mean, the outcome was kind of obvious in a way, and sometimes that can take you out from the match. I mean, you had interference from Alba Fire and Piper Niven, as you should, but I mean, Charlotte losing to Chelsea, I didn't really see happening, even though the crowd was behind Chelsea as they should be, and all that. But yeah, so Charlotte picks up the tap out victory, and she eats a senton for her troubles, which, she got lucky after getting hit with that senton Piper, because that could have ended horribly.
Yeah, I saw how that was positioned.
Yeah, like because Charlotte was up for her, figure eight bridge and all, and like it was like the moment after Chelsea had tapped out, in comes Piper Niven with this big old senton. So yeah, Charlotte didn't really have too much time to really prepare to get back down. But she was able to. Heels beat her up, and out comes Alexa Bliss for the save. And they don't really interact well with each other. Charlotte just kind of brushes her off. She doesn't really want to team with Alexa or want anything to do with what Alexa's doing here. Um, what are your thoughts on this? Because like this is the first bit of like actual forward momentum we're getting to, and whatever their feud might be, or maybe they become just a disproportionate tag team together. I really
Yeah.
don't know, but what do you think of all?
So, giving thoughts on the match real quick before we dive into the meat and potatoes. Oh, the match was okay. Nothing really special here. I saw Charlotte going up against Chelsea. As much as I like Chelsea and everything, I mean, this was Charlotte's match to win. I didn't really see Chelsea having like superpowers to really beat Charlotte here.
Yeah,
It's almost like you're starting Pokemon Fire Red, you come across a Rattata or a Pidgey or whatever. That's essentially what Chelsea Green is, and then you throw in a fucking Blastoise, and then that's Charlotte Flair. Use one water gun, all over and done there. So it's like I didn't
yeah,
see her winning this match. Obviously with the Secret Harvest there was going to be outside shenanigans. And like I said, the real meat and potatoes here is like the whole thing of like Charlotte, Flair, and Alexa. And it's like we spoke about before. It's nice that they're doing something new that doesn't revolve a title. So I like how there's character work here. And to me, it kind of feels like they're slowly building as a team. Like it's basically
hmm
one of those things where it's like you work alongside like you're trying to work alongside someone, but you don't know if you could really trust them due to the past history that you have. And I feel like we're getting like a slow build to that of them trying to trust each other, because before they just made comments towards one another. Now, without really saying it themselves, they're helping one another because of them being in trouble. So it definitely
hmm
feels like they're slowly building into some sort of team or whatever. And
yeah,
that's something I've noticed as of recently that they said on the television shows, because you even had Meechin and BFAT mentioned about the tag titles. Like, is this their goal in the end to like try to do something with tag team? Because you even saw that thing with Natalia Maxine on Monday. They have like the
hmm
Dungeon Sisters or whatever the heck it's called. So I don't know if
yeah,
this is their way slowly trying to build tag teams, or is it just character work between Chelsea and Alexa? Like there's just I definitely feel like there's a team thing there, because they're slowly going to gain respect from one another. But I don't know beyond that. But
yeah,
I do like it though,
yeah,
because no title involved. It's gives something intriguing to see with Charlotte on the
hmm
show.
yeah. Because again, like, hopefully we actually kind of dive into like what is Charlotte without a title. That's something that we've been harping on this channel and in these videos. Like, what is she without a title? And Alexa can possibly bring something like that out of her
Yeah.
and all that. Just yeah, we're slowly prodding along with it, which it's fine, I guess, to a point. Again, I don't know, just I'm ready for the team up. I'm ready for the reluctancy of the team up, I guess, with it, and yeah, just at least Alexa and Charlotte both have something beyond the Queen, and that's kind of what I was. She was just like, as much as I would love to see Alexa win, I'm fine with her losing because she still has other things to do. She could still try to coerce Charlotte to join her. If her and Charlotte do join forces, hey, tag titles, let's get them again. Cool, great. Um, yeah, nothing I have beyond either.
Yeah, that's
Just
all.
you know, yeah, just interesting developments that we're doing with. Um, and the only quickfire segment I have for tonight, really not much of anything when it comes to this. Nia comes out. She's still pissed that Tiffany cashed in on her. Tiffany's just like, oh, well, I beat you. you don't need this. They have a fight. After Tiffany had said, "Hey, I was talking to Nick Aldis in the back. It's official for next week. We're having a last woman standing match for the women's title." Um, Nia out, lays out Tiffany Stratton. Naomi comes out. She's about to cash in, but Nia's just gonna destroy her.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, she doesn't really cash in. Cool, great, neat. Thanks for coming, Naomi. Um, any thoughts on this? I mean, again, like we said most of our piece when it comes to like Nia title again, but like any piece of mine when it comes to Nia.
I mean,
Hopefully finishing off with Tiffany next week.
yeah, I mean, Tiffany pretty much said it herself when she came out. Like, pretty much everything we said
Yeah.
on the show last week. She's like, "Boo-hoo, you had your chance. Why are you still here? Like, move on, focus on something else." Like, that's
Yeah.
basically, she basically took the words out of my mouth, because it's like, okay, you got a last woman standing match, stipulation involved. Let's just wrap things up here. So I'm just
Yeah.
ready for this to be over with, so we could just fully move on to the summer, look into Evolution, look into SummerSlam in August, because
Yeah.
I'm just done with this whole Nia stuff. Because it's like, I thought when we had that match, when she ended up getting that headshot, things were gonna be over. Just wrap things up.
Yeah, just wrap it up in a nice little bow. Give it to us for like, I don't know, Flag Day or something. We'll put it under the Flag Day tree and forget about it for all of you. That's how I feel about Nia versus. Just get it over with and we'll move on from it. But yeah, from getting over it and moving on with it, we've are the end of the show. Again, like SmackDown was good in chunks. Um, like definitely like the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Definitely give those a watch. The Jacob Fatu segment, I would say give a watch as so you can get like full like getting some of the character work going on with it. Um, the King and Queen of the Ring matches, give it a John Cena segment. Yeah, give that one a look too. But like a lot of other things on this show, like I've said it before, I'll say it again, just from today. A lot of this could have just been emails, like people wanted to complain, and like I saw a lot of people online saying, "Oh, but 3 hour Smackdowns means not many people are get chances or blah blah blah, all that stuff," and I'm like, "Are you guys kidding me? If you look at SmackDown tonight, there was how many just for ads alone?" There was technically Raw superstars on SmackDown to boost the numbers. Think about that too, people. Like, I don't know. A lot of the show was just kind of like, it's there, but like I'm looking forward to the 2 hour format. It does
Oh
it
yeah.
does SmackDown so much better when it's 2 hours. Um, but I mean beyond that, some of the matches give them that. But drop what do you think of SmackDown over?
So when it comes to SmackDown itself, really, I thought the show was good. Loved the Cena and Punk. That was probably the highlight of the night for me. Loved Cena's pipe bomb on CM Punk. Me and Watkins had a lot of fun discussing that. The King and
Mhm.
Queen of the Ring semifinal matches are really good. I enjoyed both of them. Nice to see LA Knight get a new direction. Cool to see where things are going with Jacob and Solo now. But other than that, though, that's all I have to really say. Like, pretty much just said everything earlier when we were talking about the segments themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So, as we've stated, we've reached the end of the show, everybody. So, thank you guys for tuning in, joining in any conversations, whether that's during the live stream or in the VOD in the comment section, and all that. So, hopefully, everybody had a good time. Again, we broke a few things down, talked about a few things, and all that. But hey, we still got Saturday night's main event coming up in July with Evolution 2 shortly behind it. But of course, next week being the big Saudi show, the big Night of Champions and all that, things might go down. Just depends on how they go down and all that. I know it starts at like 1 last I heard, so it's going to
Yeah.
be a fairly early night when it comes to not only just watching this show, even too. So that's gonna be a thing. Looking forward to the 2 hours, blah blah blah, all that stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it there before I ramble and all that. Try to pad out this episode and all that. So thank you for taking time out of your day to Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, all this stuff to get notifications. Check out all of our other content that we've done, all the other live streams from like Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, Grapple Week, all that stuff. And be sure to, look at that little yellow section on your computer screens or your phone screens, iPad screens, whatever. On the video, those are all of our handles from all of our social media sites. You got AniMa W3 Studio, Legendary Vash, Drop This Box, Walk-ins, MW, Weebs The Ring. All those ads are good to interact with us before, during, or after shows, and to give us feedback, because, hey, we're nothing without you guys tuning in, and we love to make sure that we are expanding and growing ourselves, because, hey, you guys are what makes us continue on going forward. And of course, use the hashtag Weebs of the Ring to really get into the conversation and keep everything going nice and smoothly when it comes to talk about the pro wrestling grab. Weebs of the Ring is presented by AniMa W3 Studio. Thanks, of course, to our production team for all of their hard work. Thank you once again for joining us. And remember, as always, no stunt grannies were harmed in the of this podcast. Have a good night, everybody, and we will see you on Monday for Monday Night Raw.
You guys.